So now if we look at the reserve investments, so these are the investments which we have made in guaranteed income certificates in our reserve fund. So none of them is going to be matured in the next 60 to 90 days. So they're going to take care of themselves in the next quarter, and at the end of the next quarter we'll be looking at them in great detail. But right now these investments are safe and they are earning interest for the corporation. And if we look at the chargeback receivable, they are like $432. So the chargeback receivable is the amount which we charge back to the units. So we have determined that yes, we're going to be charge backing some units this amount, but we haven't sent them the invoice yet. And the next up is the prepaid insurance. So as you must know that the corporation has to pay the insurance of the building in one go at the starting of the year. So what we do is that we put that all amount in a prepaid insurance account. It's a prepaid expense account, and then we deduct the balance each month and transfer to the expenses every month for the accounting purposes. So if you look at the total of the assets of the corporation, it's around $4.6 million. It's a good amount, it's a healthy amount for the corporation to have, because the liability is at around $3,500,000. So if we look at the liabilities section now, so the account payables and accrued liabilities. So the difference between them, between these two are, the account payables are the amount that the corporation owes for which we have received the invoice, and the accrued liabilities are those amounts which the corporation owes but we haven't received the invoice for these expenses, but we know that yes, we're going to be accruing these amounts in future. So the account payables, as you can see, is -344. So the -344 means that the corporation will receive this amount because we overpaid some of the vendors. So if we're going to look at the detail of that, you can see from here. So we overpaid to the Design Group Incorporation and the treasurer of the City of Toronto. So we're going to be receiving back some money from them. And the next up is the accrued liabilities. The accrued liability stands at around $39,000. So for this, the schedule is also attached, which you can later refer on. So the next up is the utilities. So accrued hydro, water, gas. If you see, these are big amounts. So the reason why these are the big amounts is that there's a difference between when the utility companies charge us. So the bill date and the reading date, they have a considerable amount of gap, and since as a building we use a lot of resources, so that's why you have this lag, but it's all accounted for. So the next up is one thing which I want to focus on is the holdback payable reserve. So as you know, whatever construction projects we take on according to the CCDC, we have to hold back 10% of the invoice, so that there is no problem of the contractors not paying their subcontractors and then they put a construction lien on our corporation unit. So to safeguard from that, the law requires us to hold back 10% of the invoice payment, but we have to maintain a separate account for that. So it's easily trackable, and whenever we have to pay, we have that amount of money with us just as a guarantee. And the next up item is the payroll vacation accrual. So these payroll vacation accruals is for the building staff which are working in the building. So these have to be paid whenever they take the vacation, or if they leave before 1 year, then we have to pay them. So the other amounts which we have is the remote deposits, and the deposits, they both stand at around $38,000 and $34,000 respectively. So all in all, we have a total liability of $3,500,000.